Hi everyone. It's the holidays. That weird in between time between Christmas and New Year's where it feels like the whole world just stops. In this time of year especially, holidays are really hard and are challenging for a lot of people, and oftentimes too we get wave after wave after wave of nostalgia, and I think it's time to break up with nostalgia. Stick around. So, nostalgia. Now, here's what I want to do. One of my favorite things about being back home is seeing old videos of me. So this is me from an acting class that I took growing up. God, look at that cutie, So fun thing about this, and really what happens with nostalgia too, and why I don't think nostalgia is a bad thing, but why it's time to break up with it, is nostalgia does help us access recovered memories or lost memories to just time or trauma, lived experience, what have you. But it always feels really exciting when you go back and something like this will fire up my memory. Like, I remember the lines from these sides. I remember a line that I didn't get to say because I thought the line was really funny in this side that I never got to because we were doing scene work, which is a bad idea for child actors. I digress. Hey everyone, my name is Mitch. Welcome back to my channel. I use this channel to scream into the void and burn some calories in between eating Christmas cookies. Nostalgia. Why we should break up with it. Ultimately, nostalgia robs us of the present moment. It robs us of our desire to be present and think about where we are now. And the future is too hard to think about because we don't know what's going to happen. And so better the devil you know than the devil you don't. But these videos weren't the thing that really got me kickstarted on my nostalgia train and why I think it's time to say bye-bye. Every year that I come home, I get this overwhelming sense of dread that I am going to run into someone from my past, and we're going to have like a conversation. It's going to be embarrassing or awkward or just weird. And what's funny is that they're never bad. It has happened before, but they're never bad. They're just like, that's just what they are. But again, this overwhelming sense of dread every single time. And yet I find myself having dreams about my friends from high school. Hold on. I can hear myself. But I have dreams about my friends from high school all the time. And I wake up from those dreams with like a sense of yearning. I just yearn to be in their lives again, or yearn to be a part of their lives once more. And so what's fascinating about that to me is I didn't get any closure, maybe. Maybe there is something left unsaid. But the truth, too, and probably the most salient truth for me, is I don't actually miss my friends. I miss my connection to my past. For whatever reason, I have a hard time remembering my past. Trauma, drugs, whatever you want to call it. But when I try to think back to my time in high school, middle school, elementary school, childhood, all of that, it's always really, really fuzzy. Like, I don't really have these like crystalline memories about it all. And so for better or worse, I always kind of thought of my friends as these kind of gateways to the past. It's like, oh, if I could connect with them, and this is all subconscious too. I'm not manipulating or like, I'm not that calculated. In reality, I didn't want to be friends with them maybe anymore, or I had moved on or whatever. But it's this weird feeling of just wanting to find them so I can get reconnected to my past, like they would be able to offer any sort of glimmering memory or anything. So I'm always stressed out or have this overwhelming sense of dread that I will run into someone from my past. And yet I yearn for it in a way. And not to go back, but to kind of fold it into me. I think if this year has taught me anything, it is that things can change very quickly. And of course, it's like a silly lesson, but sometimes the silly lessons are the ones that take the longest to really learn, because things can really, really change really quickly. And so I think a part of what I am missing is, I think I am tired of new. I'm tired of the newness. I accept it and welcome it and understand that it's all for this great cause to put us into this new place that is so much better than we could ever ask for. But it's new, and new things are scary, and I'm just tired of it always being new. I think I yearn and crave for some routine. And I'm not talking like new routine that feels good because it's a routine. Like, yeah, I'm talking like deep-seated, old, routine, automatic kind of stuff. And maybe that's what I'm most nostalgic for. This life that I at least had an understanding of what was around the corner. And yeah, it's exciting that it is brand new. But I also want to get my footing a little bit, right? This is also my issue, or my personal issue, not with them, but with me, is that I oftentimes think that I am deeply forgettable. I notice this pattern with myself. I, throughout my entire life, always found like a pre-established group of friends and kind of inserted myself into that friendship, not through like duplicity or malicious intention or narcissism or anything like that. I don't think. I mean, also, I don't know, maybe. But, in elementary school, I remember there were these two boys they called each other brother, but they weren't brothers. Whoa. That's how close of friends they were. And I wanted to be their friends. And I was for a little bit of elementary school going into middle school. And then in middle school, I met another group of friends that I then quickly as I made friends, I dropped friends and jumped over to this group of friends. And those are the friends that I had all the way up until high school. And I had other friends like that. But when I think about my core group of friends, it's always this group of guys that comes to mind. In my 20s, I could easily connect it to my parents' divorce. And so it was just easy for me to find friends, or easy for me to make friends, but hard for me to keep friends because I didn't know what sustainability looked like. But in my old age, 33. I'm not afraid of my age. I'm 33, I think. Yes, 33. I sort of realized the inherent selfishness of it, where I just didn't really, but the selfishness of youth, because I don't know to think about caring about people like that. I just had friends, and then I went to college and made new friends, and very quickly just didn't communicate with them and let those friendships go. A lot of this feeling of bringing up this stuff with nostalgia as well. I found myself obsessing over what would my life be like if I didn't give up on my friends. Because it is kind of giving up, not with ill will, but yeah, a bit of a giving up of just giving up on talking and giving up on a thing I have to remember. Oh, hold on. This is going to be fun. Look at that hair. What I wouldn't give for that little mane again. Okay, the memory at resurface from this one is okay, just because I know my own life and I had long hair like this, but this was before I got braces. So it had to have been around 7th grade, right? And so I have this very specific memory of taking this class. It's another acting class, by the way. And being kind of upset I was at this class because I was missing a friend's birthday party that all of my other friends were at. So much of my life has been centered around this career, this desire, this wish to be an actor. And I've made a career out of it. I have. Doesn't feel like it at times, but then again, what career in the arts ever really feels like a career unless you're in the top 0.001%. And that's not a bad thing. It's just kind of comes with the territory, really. But so much of this being my life, the nostalgia that comes up is when I watch these tapes, I see, the hope and the optimism and the trying. And, of course, I can be a little judgmental on my craft and my skill. But the nostalgia that I take issue with is that I look and compare it to where I am now and think, man, I've really failed. I haven't reached the potential that I wanted. I haven't done what I set out to do. I haven't made it. And that's my issue with nostalgia. And so maybe I'm being aggressive in saying that we should break up with nostalgia. Reevaluate into a friendship. De-escalate that thing until it makes sense for us and makes sense for you. What I see when I watch this again is everything that I am not now. And that doesn't help anybody. Doesn't do anything except throw me into a spiral of guilt and shame and embarrassment that I never pushed myself hard enough to get to the place where I wanted to be. But even here, what's funny about this is that, when you were this age, when you were in 7th grade, were you really thinking about what your life would be like when you were 33? That was so far off. It was impossibly far away. Maybe the benefit of nostalgia is that I can take the hope that that version of me had when they thought about this Mitch, where I would be at this time in my life, and think to that when I'm 53. Imagine what you're going to be doing when you're 53. If the world will be around that long, which who knows. But the issue with nostalgia that I have now, and the real issue and why I think it's time to de-escalate, is it prevents me from being in the present moment. It prevents me from seeing where I'm at now and not only taking just like a good taking good stock of where I'm at and being like, okay, this is where I can improve. These are things that I can work on. This is how I can get to the next level, all that stuff. But it also prevents me from really appreciating and enjoying where I am at now and appreciating everything I've done up until this point. For me, at least, and maybe this happens for you with nostalgia, is that when I experience that nostalgia, I blip back to that moment. I blip back to this moment, and then from there, I forget about everything else in between, now and back then. And so, yeah, I have that wish of, man, I wish I could go back so I could do things differently, so I can make all these different choices, butterfly effect of then I wouldn't be who I am now. And I think that that's the beauty of why we don't have time travel, and the beauty of this existence, and the beauty of there is no changing our past, is that we have to make choices and we have to stick with them. Or we have to make choices and understand that those will have lingering effects and lasting effects. Because what if I didn't take this acting class back then? What if I had the impulse to do something entirely different? Who would I be now? I wouldn't be making this. Nostalgia robs us of the joy of the present. If you are always thinking about where you could have changed and where you went wrong, and if you had just made this different choice, what could be different? But it takes away from what you have now, because what you have now is the stuff you can work with to get to the future, to get where we want to be, to get where I want to be. I can't use the stuff I had here because that doesn't exist anymore. I have to use the stuff I have now. And if I'm constantly thinking about this, then I'll never get there, because there requires commitment and a bit of delusion, truly. And this is easy. Nostalgia is easy. Painful, yeah, at times, sure. Reminiscent, yes, absolutely. And easy. Okay, look, I'm talking myself out of my own argument. I don't think nostalgia is bad, and I don't think we need to absolutely get rid of it at all. I just don't think it matters as much as it needs to. Because, fuck, I've spent, probably then to now, that entire time trying to love myself. And if I'm only experiencing it now, then these are the tools that I want to work from. I want to work from this place of love instead of working from this place of trying to prove myself to the world or trying to reach for it and grab it because I'm not trusting enough that it will come to me, that I will attract it to me. It's like seeing a cat on the street. If you run up to the cat and you chase the cat's going to run away. And so you have to slow blink and piss. But slow blinks and cute noises to attract the cat, to let them know that you're safe. And I think that that's what we have to do with our future, with where we want to be in our lives. It's not about stepping into the reality where it already exists. It's not about manifesting it or believing it. It is about all that stuff, yes, just not right now. Because you have to be safe enough to hold the future. You have to be secure and safe in yourself to hold that future. And if you struggle with self-belief, and if you struggle with manifestation, and if you struggle with delusional thinking to get to where you want to be, flip the script. Create yourself as a safe garden, a home for your future to come to. We can move through time, or time can move through us. And for most of us, the only consistent thing in our lives is us. And so if you don't have consistent habits, be a consistent person. Consistently remind yourself you are safe. You are safe to welcome that stuff, to attract that stuff that you want. Happy holidays. Take care of yourself. Remember, you are safe. You may not be in a safe place, but you are safe. You are safe to welcome the world, the cat of the future. Yep. I think that's all I got. Alrighty. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you around.